Mismong si Pangulong Marcos na nagulat nang biglang sabihin sa kanya ni Sekretary Gibo, palayasin ni BBM dito ang China. Base sa balitang kumakalat, nagulat ang China sa bantang binitawan ni Sekretary Gibo na lumayas dapat dito ang China. Ayon sa Defense Secretary, walang karapatan ng Chinang manatili at mag-enforce sa West Philippine Sea dahil hindi susunod ang mga Pinoy sa kanila. Silang dapat lumayas sa West Philippine Sea.
Kailangan maalala ng ating mga kababayan, wala silang karapatan na mag-law enforcement or manatili o mag-swarm sa West Philippine Sea. Sinusubukan nila talaga pahinain ang resolve natin.
Pero ayon kay Erwin Tulpo, tinawag niyang inutil at walang kwenta ang ambasador ng China na nandito dahil matapos siyang makipagngitian, sabay-sabay tayong niloloko. Kaya pangungunahan niyang pagpapauwi sa China, palayasin niyang Chekwa na nandito.
Wala hong kwenta yung ambassador nila inutil. Sa lahat ng ambassador siguro sa dito na naka-assign sa atin, itong ambassador na ito inutil at manluloko pa. Ngiti ng ngiti ko na pagkaharap mo nga sa mga political functions, official functions ng gobyerno nandoon din. Kung ako yun, mahihiya ako eh. Kaya dapat yun, sabihan na lang nandito, umuwi ka na. Inutil ka naman.
Dagdag pa ni De La Rosa, malapit na tayong maubusan ng option na ginagamit natin sa China. Kaya kailangan na natin pumalag, tubig sa tubig, laser sa China.
Bigyan natin ng water cannon din yung ating mga barko para lumaban. Siguro para maramdaman rin nila na lumalaban tayo, labanan natin tubig sa tubig. Kung nililaser tayo, then dapat i-equip natin ang ating Coast Guard ng laser para panglaban. Hindi naman tayo forever ganito, parang daga na umiiwas sa pusa, di ba? We are running out of options, di ba? Ano pa ba? May naisip pa kayo ibang options?
Pero depensa ng ministro ng China, tayo ang sumusugod kaya tayong dapat nilang iprotesta bilang sagot sa sinabi sa kanila ni Sekretary Gibo na dapat palayasin dito ang China.
The China Coast Guard, can you please show this slide? The China Coast Guard wantonly disregarded maritime safety and demonstrated unprofessional behavior starting at 5:53 a.m. yesterday. It unleashed its water cannon several times, resulting to engine malfunction of ML Palayasin, and that is why it has to be towed back to Palawan Port by a Coast Guard vessel. As you can see, this is the incident inside ML Kalayaan, how they were jolted by the strong pressure coming from the water cannon of China Coast Guard. Aside from that, the Chinese Coast Guard also performed dangerous maneuvers to another vessel in an attempt to derail our resupply mission. It happened at 6:35 a.m. when China Coast Guard vessel 21556 fired its water cannon in front of Unaisime 1 while dangerously and closely sailing 30 meters on our vessel's starboard side. These irresponsible and dangerous actions led to a collision at 6:39 a.m. that damaged one of the posts of Unaisime 1. I also share with you the post of the report made by the China Coast Guard that was published online. And on the left, of course, the real situation as taken by a video footage inside the Unaisime 1. So you can see the stark contrast of the narrative of China Coast Guard to what really happened. Next slide, please. Also, another video before the collision took place. As you can see, the water cannon is directly hitting Unaisime 1. And another video. So you can see the water cannon pointed in front of Unaisime 1 to limit its movement. And later on we will see where that Coast Guard vessel is located, which is 30 meters before the collision incident happened. We held China Coast Guard responsible for the damages our vessels incurred. let the world know that on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the China Coast Guard committed transgressions that endangered human lives. China Coast Guard and its maritime militia have no right to interfere in our routine and legitimate operations. A union zone is within our exclusive economic zone, and their presence and actions are undermining the peace and stability in the West Philippine Sea.
As early as 5:40 in the morning of December 10, we were able to monitor an unknown Chinese maritime militia vessel because we were not able to see the bow number of this vessel, and it's already conducting dangerous maneuver towards the resupply contingent. Around 5:50 in the morning, China Coast Guard vessel 5204 already started using its water cannon against ML Kalayaan. More than 3 times with about 5 minutes interval. As you can see on the video. And during this time, around 5:50, there are already 4 Chinese Coast Guard vessels that are shadowing the entire supply contingent. Around 5:58, you can see the Chinese maritime militia, not just the Chinese Coast Guard, actively participating in blocking the Philippine Coast Guard vessel in support of this China Coast Guard, so that the MRB 4409 will also be separated from the supply boats that she is escorting. Next slide. As you can see, MRB 4409 was already blocked by the China Coast Guard vessel and 2 Chinese maritime militia. They were successful in separating the Philippine Coast Guard vessel 4409, that is the designated escort for Unaiza May 1. Around 6:11 in the morning, ML Kalayaan already received a direct hit of water cannon coming from China Coast Guard 5204. At a distance of around 0.5 nautical miles is the Philippine Coast Guard vessel MRB 4407, documenting how the China Coast Guard vessel and Chinese maritime militia is preventing ML Kalayaan from proceeding to its mission. Next slide. Around 6:20, 9 minutes after ML Kalayaan was directly hit by the China Coast Guard vessel, the Philippine Coast Guard proceeded to its location, noting the fact that it's no longer moving. It means that it has already engine trouble. This is the reason why ML Kalayaan, from this moment on until the completion of the resupply mission, it was already securely moored together with the MRB 4407. In short, it no longer has the capability to proceed to its mission. Around 6:24, on the other hand, the other Coast Guard vessel, MRB 4409, is also being sprinkled by the Chinese Coast Guard as it escorted Unaiza May 1. Probably you are wondering with the videos that were tweeted by Ray Powell, wherein Unaiza May 1 was also separated from its Coast Guard escort. It's because of this. MRB 4409 was also corralled at this particular time. Also, almost the same time that Unaiza May 1 had a near collision with the Chinese Coast Guard and also being water cannon. Next slide. Next slide. This was the video that I'm referring. Around 6:39, you can see that Unaiza May 1 is almost having a near collision with this Chinese Coast Guard vessel, as she is also being water cannon at the same time. Interestingly, 3 hours after this incident, the Chinese government, through the Chinese Coast Guard, already released this statement saying that it is the resupply boat that caused the collision between the Chinese Coast Guard and our resupply boat. That's why around 7:04, it was already decided by the Armed Forces of the Philippines that ML Kalayaan will no longer proceed in completing its resupply mission. It was already decided it will be towed back by MRB 4407 to return to Palawan. Around 8 a.m., Unaiza May 1 was already successful in entering the shoal for her to proceed in unloading her cargo on board BRP Sierra Madre. For almost 3 hours of unloading the cargo, Unaiza May 1 has already departed from BRP Sierra Madre, and went outside of the shoal in Ayungin. Next slide. However, while the Philippine Coast Guard vessel MRB 4409, the designated escort for Unaiza May 1, was waiting for Unaiza May 1 to complete her unloading of cargo, the Philippine Coast Guard is experiencing this dangerous maneuver from China Coast Guard vessel and the Chinese Maritime Militia. In total, the Philippine Coast Guard has documented the presence of all these Coast Guard vessels. There were 7 of them. This is the first time that we were able to see such numerous number of China Coast Guard vessels deployed to prevent the Philippine government in completing our resupply operation in Ayungin Shoal. Next slide. These are the Chinese Maritime Militia that we have clearly identified as the one who really participated in blocking the Philippine Coast Guard vessels and the resupply boats. Next slide. It is also worth noting that we have also seen the 2 PLA Navy vessels in that particular location in 2nd Thomas Shoal. Although they are maintaining a certain distance away from the resupply contingent, but it's important for us to note that the PLA Navy has also deployed these 2 vessels. That ends my briefing for the operational details of the resupply mission.
Ngayon, ikaw, bilang Pilipino, ano ang masasabi mo at reaksyon sa balitang ito? Mag-iwan ka ng komento sa ibaba at atin pong babasahin isa-isa.